Hi everyone, we are Team Flux and in this project we performed the usability evaluation for our client University of Michigan LSA Honors program. As we began with the project, we met with the director of the program and talked to them in general about what part of the website is problematic and to discuss the scope. Some of the initial problems as told to us by the client included the information on some of the pages being too much and the overall navigation of the website needing some improvement. A lot of students sending mails to the LSA honors staff being a direct consequence of that. In order to perform the evaluation of the website, we used different methods over the course of 12 weeks. The methods employed include interviews, comparative analysis, surveys, heuristic evaluation, and usability tests. We'll explain them one by one in the subsequent slides. We started our analysis by conducting interviews with some of LSA honors students. We conducted 5 interviews overall. Through the interviews, our main goal was to find out about the experience of the students in the program, the type of information they typically need about the program, and the methods used by them in order to find that information. After going through the notes from our interviews, there were 2 quotes that stuck with us. Josh, who is a very sincere student, mentioning that if I can figure out the technology, I'm pretty sure everyone else can too. And Melanie, a very social and motivated student, saying, I really like being part of the honors community. After that, we looked at some of the competitors to find out how they are solving these problems. Some of the criteria used by us for comparison included how the information is presented, the overall navigation, how many and for which pages quick links have been used, how is the news and upcoming events being displayed, and how easy it is to find FAQs and contact information. We grouped the competitors into different categories. For direct comparison, we looked at MSU's honors program. For indirect comparison, Michigan Community Scholars Program, Suitland Writing Center, and the University of Michigan School of Information were put in as parallel competitors, and the Michigan Secretary of State was looked upon as an analogous competitor.
In our survey section, we received responses from 28 current LSA honors students. We asked them demographics questions and their experience and attitudes towards the website. In the heuristics section, we came up with 6 heuristics criteria based on the 10 usability principles of Jacob Nielsen. We excluded some original heuristics and added accessibility to the criteria. Then we performed our individual evaluation, gave individual severity ratings, and came up with findings and recommendations. After that, we had a debriefing session and aggregated our findings and gave the collective ratings in our report. In the usability section, we conducted 5 usability tests with a mix of LSA honors students and non-LSA honors students. The moderator walked participants through 7 tasks related to the findability of information, and the note-taker observed participants' behavior, took notes, and filled data log form.
Here are some of the issues we found. First, the terminology used for naming the pages could be improved. In our usability tests, participants became confused when the information they were looking for did not seem to fit into any menu items. For example, this page talks in great detail about the process of completing an honors thesis, which is something that users may not be able to guess from the page title. As a result, when users were asked to find information about completing a thesis, they went through a lot of trial and error to see which page the information was on. We recommend that the page titles should be made more descriptive and encapsulate all the information contained on the page. On some pages, it might also be helpful to provide links to other pages with related information so that users can still find the information they're looking for even if they start on the wrong page. The second issue that emerged in all stages of our research is that a lot of pages are hard to skim because of the unclear information hierarchy. Oftentimes, users have to read through large blocks of text to locate the information they need. In our usability tests, several users searched for words using Ctrl+F to find the specific text they needed. The lack of subheadings and the small font size make the pages overwhelming and unskimmable. Besides, H4 and B tags are often used for second-level headings, which do not provide enough contrast and free space between the subheadings and the body text. Taking these into account, we recommend that our client chunk large blocks of text with subheadings, lists, indentation, and bolded text. H2 or H3 tags should be used for subheadings instead of H4 and B tags.
Our final recommendation focuses on improving the accessibility of the LSA Honors website. When we talk about website accessibility, we are referring to the inclusive practice of removing barriers that prevent interaction with or access to websites by people with disabilities. Some key features of web-accessible sites include alternative text for images, significant color contrast, and consistent use of heading tags. In our heuristic evaluation, we found that most images on the current student section of the website do not have alternative text or alt text associated with them. Alt text is what allows people who are blind or who have a visual impairment to understand the content of an image on a website through the use of a screen reader, which will read out loud the alt text associated with an image. We also found that the color contrast on the site could be improved in the drop-down menu in the top navigation bar. The contrast between a selected and an unselected item is either black or dark blue, which does not offer much visual contrast and can be difficult for some users to distinguish. Finally, using HTML heading tags in a more consistent hierarchy will improve the accessibility of the site. Heading tags communicate the information hierarchy to people who use screen readers. Headings at level 1 are broader and more general than headings at level 2, and so on. Currently, on the LSA Honors site, bold tags are often used instead of heading tags, which can keep screen readers from skimming the web page. Throughout the course of the semester, we encountered a few shortcomings and some ideas for next steps that we will briefly discuss now. One of the major shortcomings of the study was, due to time constraints, our interviewees, survey, and usability test participants are not completely representative of the UM LSA Honors students as a whole. We recruited heavily from a subset of honors students who have experience working in the honors program's office. These students have a strong familiarity with the program's structure, curriculum, and with the program's website. The scope of our study focused on the navigation of the current students section of the website, and perhaps completing further research on the organization and navigation of other areas of the site could inform recommendations for the current students section. If the client decides to continue researching the site's usability, they could further investigate the specific question of which pages on the website are visited most frequently, and potentially use this information to complete a card sorting activity that would reorganize the structure of the site's menus. Since all changes to the UM LSA Honors website will be completed by current UM LSA Honors staff members, the only financial cost to the organization would be the salary of those employees. If the LSA Honors staff decide to hire a web developer to implement some changes, the cost would be about $50 to $100 per hour. We appreciate the opportunity to work with the LSA Honors staff and students, and we hope that our recommendations will help improve the site's usability in the future. Thank you.